Hey guys, I wanted to make this quick video to go with a blog post I just wrote about Milky Way photography. In the blog post I talked about shooting and settings and all that stuff, but editing is always going to be a huge component of night photography, star photography, anything like that. So I just wanted to show you real quick how I would edit one of these photos. This photo looks like crap. This is straight out of camera. It is shot in RAW on auto white balance, so that's going to be why that's going to give us a lot of editing control, but this is just a flat, straight out of camera image. This particular night, for some reason, I was out there all night, only took 3 photos. 2 of them were blurry. This was the only usable one, but that's nice and sharp, so we are going to be able to really do a lot with this. So first thing I'm going to do is it looks very yellow, the coloring, so I'm going to deal with the white balance first. And I have to do this a lot in my star photos when I shoot on auto white balance, so I'm just going to start with pulling this temperature towards the blue till I get a nice blue, just until it looks right to me. When you shoot in RAW, you can adjust your white balance later, so that's usually how I do it. That looks about the right coloring to me. I can always fix it a little more later. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do here after that is I'm going to pull up my shadows. I want to bring out the water there, and then I'm going to pull my highlights all the way down. This bridge is really bright. That's from, there's a lot of light pollution in our area, so it is hard to get the Milky Way to really stand out. That's another reason we have to do a lot of editing to this, but also this pier is lit up, and so bringing the highlights down is really just going to help with this. Okay, now I'm noticing some vignetting around the edges. That's going to depend a lot on the lens, but the place to deal with that is down here at the bottom, here under lens corrections, under manual. You can just pull this and get rid of some of that. Okay, so that looks good. And just to kind of pull those dark corners out, and that looks a lot better. Okay, while I'm down here, star photography, the dehaze slider helps a lot, so I'm going to go ahead and just add in a little bit of dehaze to that, and I might add more later, but we'll just kind of see how this goes. This image is still very flat looking, so we're going to need some contrast. First thing is I notice a gap right here. I want to go ahead and pull my whites up. That's usually what I do before I add contrast, is just get my whites to where I have a white point, and right when that triangle lights up, we know we've got a white point. And then I also want to get a black point, so I'm going to pull the blacks down till that triangle lights up right there. Okay, so that looks good. And then I'm going to do, on this one, I really need this to pop. This is actually a little bit overexposed in general though, so I'm going to actually pull down the exposure just a little bit. Okay, that looks good. Now I'm going to do a curves adjustment here a little bit, just to see if I can get a little more contrast in here. And maybe about like that, a little more on the brights. Okay, that actually helped. That actually helped quite a bit. Okay, so now what we're dealing with is, it's just, we've got different parts of the image having different issues, like the bridge is too bright, the water's too dark, the sky is too, the sky has all sorts of problems. So let's start with the sky, and I'm going to use one of these, I don't know, I call it a curtain, but anyway, because I want to just affect the sky. So I click on that, what is that called? Graduated filter. Okay, and then I'm going to pull down a graduated filter. I just want to affect the sky. This is showing like where it's going to kind of transition. If you hover over this, it'll show you. I'm going to make that a little tighter and then pull it down. So we want to just affect the sky here. Okay, so Now we are going to darken the sky because that is way too bright. Add some contrast. And the reason I didn't want to do this to the whole image is because this is stuff that just needs to be done with the sky. Like the sky needs a lot of contrast, needs some clarity. And I'm going to put more dehaze on this, on just the sky to really, okay, see that, now we're getting somewhere here. And even a little bit of saturation to kind of bring out that blue. Okay, now I'm gonna bring this down a little more so we're affecting the whole sky. I'm gonna bring this up. Okay. And that's good. That sky's looking pretty good right now. Now I want to deal with this water in the pier. Now for the pier, the only problem that's happening on the pier is that this is just too bright right here. So I'm just going to go to these things right here. You've got hue, saturation, and luminance. This is where you can just adjust certain colors. And so I think I can tackle just the oranges here, oranges and yellows, and deal with that. Luminance is going to be how much something glows, like a certain color. So right here, I just feel like the orange is what's glowing too much here. If I can just bring that down, then that's going to, there we go. See, that helped a lot. And even maybe the yellow down a little bit. Okay, so that just helped that a lot. I'm even going to take that a step further. This is still a little bright right here. So I'm going to take an adjustment brush, and I'm just going to kind of guess at what I would want here. Bring the exposure down, bring the highlights down, and I'm going to make sure that my auto mask is turned off, because just with this area, auto mask isn't really going to help us that much. So I'm just going to carefully paint the areas. Okay, there we go. And it's just this, also this one little area right here. Okay, so that's way better. And okay, I'm happy with the pier now. Now it's just the water. The water's too dark. I'd like to brighten that up a little bit. So I'm going to take an adjustment brush here. And the main thing I want to do here is I just want to brighten up the water. And let's just get a nice big brush and kind of sweep over here. Brighten that up. It doesn't have to be exact or perfect, but I think something about like that. Actually, I want that even a little bit brighter because I want it to be clear. We're at the beach here. That's nice. I like that. And I might even, it's a little yellow to me. I'm going to bring down the temperature just a little bit and the tint, get that nice blue-green water that we are known for around here. And I might even just saturate the water just a little bit, and yes, I like that. Maybe a little less, that might be a little too much. Okay, so I think that looks good. And okay, I'm pretty happy with that image. The last thing I like to do is just go down here to the sharpening and add some sharpening. And then anytime you sharpen, it's going to sharpen the whole image, but when you have night photography or something like that, that means it's also going to sharpen all the noise in the image, so masking is going to help with that, and it's going to make it where it's only kind of sharpening the stuff that has the detail. And then luminance, on star photography, I don't add too much because it softens the stars, makes them not as sharp, but maybe about like that. And that looks pretty good. The very last thing I like to do on my Milky Way photography is just take an adjustment brush and make sure the feather on that is pretty big. Okay, yeah, this is to the highest it can be, just so it's a smooth transition. And I usually just do full clarity, and I'm going to brush just right over the core just to make that stand out. So I think that's good. And then I may even go and add a little bit of exposure to that to really, just to make it pop out. Yeah, about like that. A little contrast. Bring down the highlights a little bit so it's not glowing. You can just kind of play with this stuff, and then even a little bit of dehazing on that. Okay, I think that's pretty good. And so I'm happy with this image, and if you do your backslash key, you can see how it looked before and after. So as you can see, wow, we've really improved that image. That's what happens when you, that's the reason to shoot in RAW right there, because that's, you can really affect your image a lot. We have completely saved that. Okay, so that's all I wanted to show you here, and I hope that helped, and let me know if you have any questions, and I look forward to doing more of these over the summer. Have a great night.